Yeah.
Someone said they're watching Finch and enjoying it.
Yeah. Have you watched that, Leander?
It's a fake account.
Unfortunately, it was awful.
It looked awful.
All right,
It was
no. Hey, we're
completely. Yeah,
we're,
okay, we'll talk
we're,
about
we're,
that
we're, we're live now. Finch is the greatest show I've ever seen, guys. I just love it. Can't wait to rewatch it. Don't you agree? Okay.
later. No.
I just love Finch on Apple TV Plus. I love it. Boom. And we're live. Did you like that, Leander? I did that one for you. Did you hear how soft and subdued that was?
Yeah.
Boom. And we're live. That was my NPR boom. Should we do a tweet here, Lewis? You single-minded creature.
Waiting,
I know exactly.
Waiting for the teat.
You just can't wait to get your hands on my tweets. It's just gross, Lewis. It really just grosses me out. Let's see. Let's make sure we have no grammatical errors in here. I don't want to get whipped by the car antenna. Check this out, Liz. How do you like this? We've got our first glimpse at Apple's upcoming AR goggles, and we have more picks for Gear of the Year. CultCast is live, all capital, talking gadgets, and this week's best. I know. There's literally not a single word in here that anyone's going to care about, but I got to come up with something, Lewis.
I've noticed that every time we publish something about these AR goggles, it's just like,
Dude,
a tree falling in the woods by itself. Nobody cares. I have not seen any indication whatsoever that anybody cares about this.
See the stats from the newsletter?
No, were they good?
No, for the AR story, it was way down, like at the bottom of the list. People were clicking on, what was it? Something really mundane. The setup
like
story was
house
the top
ad.
one. Yeah, exactly.
Here's what I want you to do, Lewis. I want you to put in 2 decoy headlines, like 4 ways to reduce chronic gas. Six herbs you can use to remove warts. Just put those into the newsletter with a story on the mixed reality headset and see which one gets more clicks. I bet you it's going to be the one on gas.
Yeah.
Because people just, I think the concept of the mixed reality headset is so esoteric to most people. Like when they see it, they have no idea what they would do with that. And until Apple paints the vision and creates the hype, it's just not going to be a product that people get excited about. And even afterwards, we'll see. Shout out to what's up?
Just every advertising thing I see for Oculus Quest, every picture looks like a parody of some future world that you don't want to live in.
Yeah. Although I have a friend who has one, and he games on it with his kid, and he loves it. He plays it almost every single night. So I think once you have one, and you have the experiences that they offer, you might be more receptive to an Apple mixed reality headset.
Yeah.
But
So.
we'll see. I mean, not for $3,000, but we'll see what happens. Shout out to Adam Broussard from Handshakes. He wants to know, where's the tweet? Oh, I'll give you the tweet. Gaylord Fokker says, good morning.
Did you really say that?
Yeah. Jeff Druin says, sup, people? Chase McClain says, ho, ho, ho. I think he's talking about
People love the tweet.
Mama. And then Gaylord Fokker's back. Look, we got almost no one here. And you know what? I'm not surprised because what was the title? Oh, yeah.
Jeez, I barely want to be here.
We were just talking. I think we might take next Christmas off, but I should have had some kind of Christmas something lined up. Merry Christmas, everyone. This is our last show before Christmas, and the next show is our last show of the year. Oh, my gosh. So we do have some Apple stories, believe it or not. And we also are going to continue with our Gear of the Year, where we talk about the gadgets, and we're going to open it up a little bit more this episode because we got Scrooge McWallace over there. He's got nothing left. He's got no picks. He's got no energy. He's got no steam. He just wants to go down to his basement and play darts. So we're going to let him pick whatever he wants. It could be shows. It could even be weird dart accessories like you did that one time. Literally whatever you want.
I've already scraped the bottom of the barrel, so I don't know what to do. I mean,
you're pulling up Earth now. I know. I was having a hard time thinking about what picks that I wanted to choose for this show, but then I started thinking about some of the things that I have, and I realized there's a bunch of stuff I actually haven't talked about. So I'm going to be pitching 2 things that I actually have really loved this year, and haven't spoken about at all because they're just I wasn't even thinking I was reviewing them, but they're things that I realized I actually use these things all the time, and they're really great. So let's just get going because I think LK is already asleep. Either that or he's oh, there he
He's
is.
passed out.
Looking for
Looking for pics.
Christmas present for my wife.
Oh. Get her a doorstop. Put it in a box, wrap it up nice, and see what she does. You can come
Okay.
and then get her like a real gift too as a backup, but like let her open the fake gift first and then pretend like it's serious. And then you can show up with like a big handprint on your face for next week. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
Hilarious. All right, all.
Tips.
Let's get Mrs. You Know Who back with us because I think we're ready to go. Oh, Mrs. D. There's that delicious El Katie. I'm happy he's not dead. Me too, Mrs. Mrs. D. I was worried about him. I thought he was a goner for sure. Yeah, we did too, but he's back and he's feeling better than ever, so that's good. Let me pull up my my stuff here. Let me make sure we got everything going, and we will get this show on the road. Lewis, the tweet is out, by the way. The tweet has been tweeted.
It's been quote tweeted.
Okay, good. I'm surprised the retweets aren't rolling in on that one because that was such a good tweet. Okay.
I really added some extra joy to it. I think.
Oh, good. Color commentary? That's what sells it. All right, here we go.
Ripped off straight from you.
Hello, and welcome to CultCast, the best 30-plus minute album conversation you're going to hear all week long. I'm your host, Aaron Elijah. Join me today. He had such a bad cold last week, we started thinking we might need to activate Digital Legacy on his Apple account. Thankfully, several Stellas brought his blood alcohol level back up to 0.3, and that killed all the germs. Now he's a picture of health. Leander Caney is joining us. Also with us, if you're wondering how he became one of San Francisco's best dart players, well, here's his secret. He spends his days hucking darts at writers in the Cultimac writing cage. They always try to dodge, but he gets them. So hitting a dartboard that doesn't move or whimper when you hit it, now that's easy. He's the managing editor of Cultimac. Lewis Wallace is here.
I disavow. Once again, I disavow.
My face. Keep typing. Lewis,
Excellent jokes this week.
Putting the eye in bullseye.
Oh, golly.
there's
Ooh,
several of them.
vitreous humor.
Several of them wearing eye
Yeah.
patches now. It's a cool look. You actually did them a favor. Think how tough they look now with those eye patches on.
There's a
What is
famous
eye
picture
patch?
of a British goalkeeper with a dart sticking out of his head. Some fans threw a dart at him.
Are you kidding me?
Have you seen that, Lewis?
No,
All right, let me see if I can find it.
There was something
But
going
anyway,
around
keep
a while
going.
back. Some woman in a pub getting one right in the eye. That was
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
just absolutely horrifying
She had,
to look at.
she had a dart stuck in her eye?
Yeah,
For real?
yeah.
And it must
I
have
mean,
blinded her, I'm
it
sure.
It was not a fake. I mean, there was no. It was like a quick video, right?
Oh
I mean,
my
there was.
gosh.
Yeah. It was disgusting.
And do you know what happened to her afterwards?
No, it was. There was no follow up.
Well,
It
I
just-
would have been
it was
curious.
just
Like,
like-
were they able to save her eye, or
I don't even remember where this was. It was like on. I don't know. I think it was before TikTok. So, but
Okay.
oh my god. I'll
Now-
see if I can find it.
Okay, and also in the meantime, LK, I can you check which microphone your computer is using for Skype? Because I should have had you check earlier, but I was just listening to your audio, and I'm like, I swear it's using your Max mics right now. So
let me see.
yeah, just give it a little look-see, because I have a feeling that And while you're doing that, let me.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, it just got
Is
much
that better?
Yeah, that is
It's
much.
his default device, but the default device is the Rode Podcaster.
Yeah, that sounds much better. All right,
Okay.
let's see here. Before we thank you for taking a look at that, cultcloth.co. There we go. Baby. Oh man, we are things are back up and running on cultcloth.co. We were behind for a good 2 to 3 weeks, and things were getting crazy. And every time someone tries to copy us, like when Apple did, or when the class that geniuses love. Yes, this is my daughter. Come in. This is my daughter. Okay, Lewis, Leander, can you guys talk amongst yourselves for just one moment while I go speak to my daughter?
Sure.
I knew this was going to happen. My wife left her inside watching a movie. And I'm like, if you leave her here, she's going to come up, and it's going to be right when I'm recording. So give me 2 minutes here. Actually, probably
Wow.
30 seconds max. Lewis, say something really funny and clever.
This is This is quite a way to start a show.
Yeah,
Full abandonment.
signing off. I wish I hadn't searched for that now.
Yeah, I found it there.
Oh golly, there's some.
Yeah.
Did you see one of the fans too?
No,
And there's another one, drunk man's head during dart match. There's one of it. Guy in a pub.
We shouldn't be talking about this. I mean, this is why people are afraid to have darts in their bars, because of this kind of thing.
Oh dear, I'm gonna have to close this window.
All right. Did you guys say something really clever to keep people entertained? Looks like we dropped
No.
a couple of viewers.
We're just grimacing, thinking about darts in the eye.
Okay, let me.
Every Saturday night when we
Yeah.
go and play at the weekend tournament at the Four Deuces out there at the end of Terrible out near the ocean. Every time we're sitting there playing and you get ready to throw and some drunk person walks in between you and the board. And the guy that runs the tournament every week, he's like, walk behind us.
Well, it's
I
right
mean,
next to the bar, isn't it? Or in the middle of the bar. So
It's not an ideal setup, but on the other hand, I don't know, be halfway aware that there are darts being
why don't you get
thrown.
some of those velvet ropes, to rope it off?
There you go. That's actually a really good idea. That didn't even occur to me. Most of the time when you're playing darts, there's a bunch of drunk people everywhere. How many other sports exist where where the fans can just walk onto the field completely drunk, and you're
Right,
throwing like really sharp, dangerous objects? There's probably all sorts of really. We shouldn't Google this, but there's probably all sorts of really crazy like darts injuries from people who are drunk wandering through like a darts lane.
That's what we were talking about when you went to go deal with your daughter.
Oh yeah, Rapunzel's over, so she wanted me to come down and put something else on for her, and I was like, I can't do that right now. Use the Apple TV remote and try to figure out how to do it. It's the new Apple TV remote.
Oh,
It's
no.
not that hard.
It's never gonna happen.
I was like, I'm sure you could figure it out with the new remote. If it was the old remote, no way. But the new remote, you got a chance. All right, let me just do this real fast. CultCloth.co. It's the high-tech, high-performance cleaning cloth that all the geniuses use. And if you head on over to CultCloth.co, you can score yourself a free 8x8 clean cloth with any order. And the thing that makes these cloths so magical, mystical even, is the fiber is a special fiber that goes through a process in these really expensive looms that breaks it down, drastically increasing the surface area. And then they're woven into these really dense cloths, which clean better than anything else. And when you get them, you'll see what I mean. Like you could even wipe it across your fingertips, and they just grab on. All the little fibers grab onto your tips, Lewis. And
Have you filed a human rights report on this? I mean, are you sure that these looms are, operated by people who are receiving a living wage? And...
well, I demand that they're paid as low a wage as possible, so we can keep profits up. Yeah. So I haven't checked into that. Yeah.
No younger than 8, right? Because then their dexterity is.
I would never hire an 8-year-old. They're way too lazy. I prefer 4 to 6, actually, Leander.
Real strivers.
Yeah, because they're fresh, their minds are sharp, and they can work like 14, 16 hours a day without getting tired. Yes, Lewis?
And you don't have to feed them very much either.
Yeah, right.
And they're real picky. They only eat like Oreos and
Pasta.
stuff.
Yeah, I just feed them.
Yeah.
Oreos.
Pasta with butter, right?
You know how expensive those
That's
are?
it.
That's literally all my kids actually ever want. I wish they would eat other things like vegetables, but all they ever want is pasta with butter. So we're doing them a favor. So if you are, yeah, go ahead.
I was just say I'm astonished at how many pretenders to the throne there are now. Cult Cloth comes out, then Apple comes out with one. Now every podcast, every website in the world,
weird?
Apple website has one. What they often imitated, never duplicated. Cult Cloth.
There's our slogan right there. And the thing is, like, I've been kind of checking out what some of the people are offering out there, and a lot of them just take like a generic cloth and just put their logo on it, and then they sell it. So it's just like basically all the other cheap garbage that you can buy, on Amazon or the ones that you get for free when you get a pair of sunglasses or something. And these are not that. As soon as you get like the Cool Cloth Duo and you hold it in your hands, you can immediately tell. It's like, wow, this is super thick. It's dense. And then you wipe it out. You wipe something down, and it's like, whew, there's nothing like it. CultCloth.co.
I gotta admit, that is
CultCloth.co.
actually true. The Cult Cloth is my favorite cleaning cloth.
You didn't believe me, and then I
I
sent you
know,
an
I
order,
was-
and didn't your cat eat half of them? And then you finally got around to using some of the other ones.
Yeah.
I still
I
haven't
know.
found mine.
Yeah, but that actually is great. Super great. Great for glasses, great for TVs, great for screens.
Yeah, I just I keep telling my kids not to touch my new television screen. which of course they do, right? Yeah, there's handprints all over. I came in the other day and my son had a lightning cable and he was going bunk, bunk, bunk and just poking the TV with it. I almost had a heart attack. My daughter was in there swinging a stick around. I'm like, please be careful with that. You're gonna, and then she hits the TV with it.
Oh my God.
So I was
Sounds like you need a cage.
I was in a panic mode, and I took the coat cloth. I gently wiped it all down. And thankfully, it's like good as new. So I'm not saying that
Wow,
coat
it
cloth
really
will
does
magically
bump it up.
repair scratches and bumps, but it will get rid of all the fingertips, all the dust, and everything else. All right, this is Genius Cloth. This is sold out. Genius Cloth. If you want the cloth that real geniuses use, you know where to get it. Cultcloth.co. Okay, let's dive in
some
here.
kind of record, man. Like, how long have we been on the
topic
air
of Cult Cloth.
with zero Apple news?
I know. It's amazing. It's amazing how long we can
I'll
go
wait till wind up.
without actually speaking about anything Apple. I honestly think that we could probably do an entire, probably 2-hour podcast, and then at the very end start to get to Apple stuff, and then we'll just turn the music on. That's actually a great premise for a show, Lewis. Like, we'll say it's like a really great Apple podcast, and then we'll get to the Apple stuff at the very, very end, and then we'll just start the music and never actually get to it. How you feel about that?
I want to do it now.
You want to just start right
innovative.
now? Yeah,
I'm
2000.
starving. Yeah, I'm ready
22.
for lunch.
Okay, let's cruise through these stories. So, first story, Apple's first AR/VR headset might look like ski goggles. Well, we knew this thanks to he who shan't be named. Okay, look, I'll give him a plug. Alex E. Heath. I can't stand that guy, but I also respect him, damn it. And he had an information at the, or a story at the Information outlining what the Apple AR/VR headset was going to do, what it was going to look like, and I spoke to him about it in a CultCast off topic. Actually, I think I actually released that on the CultCast as well, and he was very confident that his story and his sources were accurate, and he thought the price tag was going to be about $3,000. Well, Wunderkid Ian Zelbo, so he's the guy that makes all of the renders for Front Page Tech. He's really talented, actually, and he came out with a render based on all of the schematics and sketches that were gathered by the Information on the headset. So he must have had some free time. And he put together this render that shows you pretty much what the Apple headset is going to look like. And if the renders or if the schematics, if the sketches were true, the ones that Alex E. Heath got, then this is it right here. And you can see it's it's super futuristic looking. And oh wow, he even has like the mesh right there on the seal.
He's taken all the design cues from the AirPods Max with the mesh, the headphones, and
Apple Watch.
Apple Watch, yeah.
Yeah,
it's clever. It's nicely done.
It's very well done. So the strap that goes around the back, it looks like the fluoroelastomer strap from the Apple Watch. Sorry, this is not engaging for those of you listening, but I'll put a link to this in the show notes if you want to check it out. And it kind of looks like the front of a space helmet, but only just like the visor portion of it. And
right.
Then
It doesn't have that long. Most of the other ones have a long, goofy. The headpieces stick out, doesn't it? Like a good few inches. But this one looks like it will actually sit only a few inches from your face.
Yeah, and more to the story here. So it was originally reported that these were going to have two 8K displays inside and would have a curved visor attached to the face via mesh material, as well as a switchable headband. And then a later report from Ming-Chi Kuo said that it's actually going to have a pair of 4K micro OLED displays and a chip on par with an M1 Mac in processing performance, and then, just a gaggle of sensors. The device could drop in late 2022, and according to Alex E. Heath, is going to cost as much as $3,000, which they're going to have quite a presentation to justify $3,000. And I'm sure there will be models that will be cheaper, maybe with less sensors or something. 4K OLED makes way more sense to me than 8K. I don't even think there is an 8K OLED, and 4K OLEDs are so ubiquitous. And so I got the new LG C1 OLED, the 4K OLED, HDR OLED, and the 4K Apple TV, the new one, the screensavers are one of the most magnificent pieces of content I've ever seen on a TV. Like, it looks so like Apple, or I don't know if you guys have heard about this. Like Disney is creating this space cafe. Let's see here, and it's essentially this cafe surrounded by. Well, it basically takes you into space, right? So they've created like this experience that makes you feel like you're going into space, and then you go into the restaurant, and it's surrounded by I presume screens, like OLED screens that just show you space activity happening all around you. So it's supposed to be like a spaceport, and I'm guessing that they're probably using OLED displays because the OLEDs have perfect blacks. They can turn off the pixel if it doesn't need it, which makes it totally black. But then they can show you really high fidelity content. Yeah, here it is. Here it is. I just found it. Space 2020 or Space 220 restaurant located at Epcot. And you can kind of see a picture from inside this restaurant. I don't know if you guys can see this. Oh, that looks like a delicious dish. And so I bet you anything they have like OLEDs surrounding this restaurant to make it look like you're in space, because the OLED picture is one of the most realistic pictures I've ever seen. I was looking at it with my wife the other day, and we were looking at the screensaver, and I was like, this looks like a window to the outside world. I've never seen a picture that looks this beautiful. I mean, ever. Maybe ever. I mean, maybe at CES, but never in my own house.
You sure you weren't looking out the window?
And then I realized I was looking out the window, and I turned to the television. I'm like, oh, that looks decent too.
What were you looking at? Some
Chicken
screensavers?
World.
Yeah, it was just the 4K Apple TV screensavers. They look.
Yeah, well, that's mostly what we watch on our Apple TV is the screensavers. Me and the kids sat there and watched like 30 minutes worth the other day because they are amazing.
They are so beautiful. And on the new Apple TV, I don't know if you can do this on the old one or the old 4K Apple TV, but on the new one, you can press the right button and it will actually cycle through screensavers, which I don't think you could do on the older 4K Apple TV. It's actually really
I
cool.
didn't know that. That's
Yeah.
a good tip.
That's a hot tip right there. I just did it by accident. And I was like, oh, wow, you can actually cycle through these. So, yeah, it's expensive. It's expensive. I'm not totally sure that the new Apple TV is worth it if you have the older 4K version, but man, it really is so practical and easy to use, and the UI is so beautiful. And anyway, I wasn't going to talk about the Apple TV 4K, but so there you go. There's your first look at the VR headset, AR headset, I should say. I think it looks great. Ian did a.
Well, do you
did a
think
really
anyone
good
is
job
going to
with
strap this on, though? I mean,
Heck yeah.
it just seems like such a niche product. Did you see that Facebook, the Financial Times from London interviewed Nick Clegg, Meta's head of PR.
Mm-hmm.
Meta, I hate saying that, but in the metaverse, so that the journalist was wearing a headset and Nick Clegg was wearing a headset, and I mean, he called it wretched. That's an actual quote. Wretched, this wretched headset, because he couldn't drink his coffee. He was trying to drink his coffee and he had to tip his head back to be able to like drink it.
This is the Facebook one or the Oculus?
Yeah.
Oh.
And this is their own head of
Their
PR.
PR head.
Yeah. He called it wretched, and what was the other one? Bulky. I mean, he had a couple of choice things to say about this. And of course it looks ridiculous. It looks like Second Life. I mean, the avatars are really cartoony and goofy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just cannot see anyone. Why would you want to? I can't see anybody doing that to get that experience. There's just nothing compelling about it at all. Nothing.
I kind of agree with you. It seems like a huge gimmick to me, and it seems like they're trying to predict the future, and I don't think that's it. Maybe we'll see if I'm wrong. That could be a Steve Ballmer comment right there, but I think the thing that's missing about the metaverse, and this is always going to be the problem, is you are not going to get any of the other sensory experiences, right? So you're only getting the vision part of it, but that's a small piece of an overall experience. There's the smells, there's the touch, there's the weather, there's all these other parts of it that in Ready Player One, it interacts with your body in such a way that you get to have all those other experiences, like in the Matrix or something, right? But like if you just have the visual experience on your face, that seems like it would kind of get boring after a while. It feels like you would know that you're in an artificial experience all the time and you would eventually get tired of it. So I don't see people living in the metaverse, honestly. Especially not after seeing that creepy picture of where is it?
Yeah, Mark Zuckerberg walking through that
Zuckerberg.
room, just like in the Matrix, isn't it? They're all plugged into the Matrix.
Let's see if I can find it. I always love showing this picture because let's see here, images. Because all these people, there it is. It's so easy to find. All these people are wearing the headset, and then look at that creepy grin that Zuckerberg has on his face, and look how stiff his lips are. That is, he's in an excited state. He's happy to see all these people plugged in. Look at this guy. Hold on. Look at this guy in the front here. Look at that. Can you see like the
You'll have to describe it.
I'm not getting any bigger. There's a guy who's standing right next to Zuckerberg, and he is in like this strange state where his mouth is like really frowning, and he's got this headset on, and he looks like he is just in a zombie mode because of the expression that he's making, zoned out in this headset while Zuckerberg steals all his brain data.
MacBook dangling off his leg, giant cable. What's that cable connected to? Everybody's got these cables coming out of these goggles. I honestly, I can't even imagine somebody paying $100 to get one of these things. I don't know. Although I got to say that part of me wants to run down to Costco and pick up one of those Oculus things just because, and return it if it's the absolute nightmare that I think it is. But just to see what in the world these people are talking about, because I'm such a skeptic. But I wouldn't say never. I mean, who knows? Maybe it is somehow amazing. I guess it depends on what the content is, right?
Mm-hmm. Right,
yeah,
absolutely.
The other thing too is with VR gaming. Anyway, I don't know if this happens with AR, but when you are playing games that have a lot of fast-paced action, that disconnected experience between what you're seeing and the fact that you're not moving, because you have that fluid in your ear that kind of helps you like establish your balance, your sense of balance. And when that's not moving around, when the ear juice isn't flowing, but your eyes are seeing movement, it tends to make people very nauseous. And I had that experience at the Penny Arcade Expo, which is a big video game convention in Seattle. I was playing some shooter game in VR, and I was having fun. It was actually really immersive and really cool. And then I started getting like this really strange cold sweat. And then I had this really strong sensation that I was just going to hurl come upon me. And I was sick for probably an hour. I sat in the lobby of that hotel just taking deep breaths, hoping I wasn't going to hurl in the lobby. And I felt like I couldn't walk. And that experience is really common with AR and VR headsets.
Great. Can't wait to pay $3,000 to get that.
Yeah,
really
I wonder how they're going to
awesome.
I wonder how they're going to mitigate that, because that is a really common issue with VR. And, everyone's walking around
puke
puking.
sack that attaches. That's how they'll do it.
I'm sure they'll sell one, won't they?
$50 minimum.
Minimum.
The
Plus a
anti-nausal
special cloth to wipe your mouth.
Yeah, there you go. Right, comes with a free bag.
Gob polishing cloth.
Comes with a free Apple branded bag with one of those wires at the top, so you can fold it down nicely after you hurl into it. All right, so there you go. We talked about this way longer than I actually thought we were ever going to. So let's move on. Let's talk about well, this is actually a pretty cool update if you travel a lot. I'm going to leave it to you to fill us in on the details here, old LK.
Right. Yeah. If anyone, like with travel becoming a horrible COVID nightmare once again, it's perfect timing. But anyway, Apple unveiled digital ideas for the Wallet app in its Worldwide Developers Conference back in June, and the plan was to launch it sometime later this year, with the TSA being its first supporter. Unfortunately, like a number of new additions to iOS 15, Apple later delayed the rollout. So Apple Wallet is now scheduled to get digital ID support next year. And as promised, the TSA will be the first to accept them, according to an announcement made this week by the Secure Technology Alliance. The press release says the mobile driver's licenses, aka MDL, quote, are gaining traction in at least 30 U.S. states and preparing to take to the sky. So the TSA is preparing to begin its phased rollout with MDL, Apple Wallet integration, which will allow select security checkpoints in participating airports to be the first locations, the announcement read. So the TSA says standard-based digital IDs, such as state-issued MDL, will help streamline and secure the identity verification process. So the TSA next year is going to start taking your, if you're in one of the states that accept them or is rolling them out as a form of ID. And apparently this is supposed to be, so of course, so in addition to the TSA support, your state will need to adopt it too. And for the moment, it's Arizona, Connecticut, Florida, Georgia, Iowa, Kentucky, Maryland, Oklahoma, and Utah are the only ones that have confirmed support. So no California, no good for us. No Washington. Did it say Washington? No
I
Washington
heard
for
that
you?
Washington was considering it, but it's not on this list, so I'll have to look into that.
It says 30 states, but that's not 30 states, is it? I mean, that's like,
Yeah.
not even a dozen.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
I
7,
think there's
8.
8 or 9 is what I've heard so far, like committed to it.
Okay,
You
that
know,
have actually
they got
committed to it. Yeah.
So I guess I'm not so excited about the TSA, but I'm kind of excited to have a digital driver's license on my phone. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that would be cool. That is something that I would definitely use if I had the option to, and hopefully one of the things I thought was interesting about this story is hopefully it will make going through the line at the airport faster because they can make things digital. And imagine if they could pull up something and like see your photo much larger than it is on your
They don't
driver's
even do
license.
that. It's just it's all automated. So
Hmm.
you scan it, and there won't be an agent any longer checking your ticket with your ID. It would be you just go to some scanner and then it would scan your ID and then it would check it against your ticket. So it's all totally automated then.
How
Interesting.
could that possibly work? Because what if you just hand somebody else your phone?
Good point. Don't know.
I mean, I guess you could do that with a regular wallet too, but or a regular ID too. But
Yeah, I'm sure there's going to have to be
There's
a
gotta be
person
somebody checking it.
verifying your picture at the very
Yeah,
least.
maybe that
Yeah.
would be the case.
Otherwise, you just foiled the whole thing, Lewis. You just discovered the one weakness. They built in all the security,
We never thought of
and,
that.
and they're like, "Wait a second, what
Well,
if
the other
someone
thing
hands
is-
them this phone?"
checking your ID is hardly the most time consuming process of going through that whole nightmare, is it? That part usually goes pretty quick.
Yeah, but if they
it's the-
speed it up by 10 seconds, and then you multiply that by 10,000 people, then they save all sorts of time, right? So
sounds like Steve Jobs.
and,
yeah.
I don't
anything that
understand
you can
how it-
save, yeah.
Speeds it up, to be honest. But
Well, it makes it digital, Lewis. I don't know. I mean, they make it digital. Everything's faster when it's digital. Come
I mean,
on.
it's more convenient because you don't have to like maybe pull the. I always hate it. I need to see your driver's license. Okay, pull it out of the wallet. Oh, jeez, you're kidding me. It's jammed in there. You have to like fish it out of the little plastic case. It's always a pain in the butt. So, if you guys use do you have the COVID vaccination card in your Apple Wallet?
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
Have you used that?
yeah. I used it at Bubba Gumps the other day.
I used it last night, and it was quite obvious. It was the first time this person had ever seen one,
Oh, really?
and it was like, do you have the dates? Where are the dates? Where are the dates? Like, yeah, I don't know. I haven't studied this. This is for
Well, it's pretty clearly, you can the dates are pretty clear because
Yeah.
I set it up my mom and we checked it out, so the dates are right there.
yeah,
but
she
then they
finally
still have
found
to-
them. But yeah, what?
Well, then they still check it. They still check it against your ID. So
Right,
you have to
right.
pull out your ID. So it's still a bit of a pain, but
I
Yeah.
always vouch for the rectal swab personally.
Oh, jeez. Every entrance to every public place.
Anytime I go anywhere, they're like, "Sir, you were just here 2 hours ago." I'm like, "I'm back, and I'm not feeling so good." So you better get that swab going.
Oh my God.
I'm just joking. Who do you think I am? Alex Heath? Okay, here we go. All right, so remember because he liked all the alien never mind. Let's talk about it's going downhill.
Wow, where did
Let's-
that come from?
Let's talk about the last story that we have here before we dive into our gear of the year. I thought this was a fun story, and with Christmas right around the corner, it's apropos that we would talk about this. And actually, also, this kind of makes me want AirTags, Lewis. I never really got excited about AirTags until I read this story, and I was like, actually, this would be super useful for something that you want
Yeah.
to make sure that you don't lose, and especially if you want to guarantee that you are cementing your own murder at some point. You know what I mean? When you go to retrieve your stuff.
Well, that's exactly why we like the idea of those things, like with the bike mounts, right?
Yeah.
The kind of hidden bike mounts. They're, if somebody swipes your bike, yeah, kind of nice to be able to find out where they're at, where your bike is.
Yeah.
So I guess we should tell a story. So
Yeah, go ahead.
the headline on this is crime-busting mom tracks down Christmas decoration thief with AirTags. And what happened is this woman in Texas put AirTags on her outdoor Christmas inflatables in case they were stolen. Apparently, this happened to a few people in the neighborhood. And then when they were, she was able to track them down. Her name was Nisa Galvin. Is that right? Nisa?
Sure, I'll take that.
Galvin? Yeah, it's close enough, right? They are apparently fans of the Grinch because they had a giant inflatable Grinch his dog Max, and a Christmas tree in their yard. And then early in, like well after midnight one morning, somebody came by and swiped them all. Uh, which is
Who
just,
steals Christmas
things are-
ornaments?
these things are
Inflatables.
giant too. I don't know
Yeah.
if you guys actually saw this story, but so anyway, as I said, she had heard that this was happening in her neighborhood, so she put air tags on these things, and then she went and tracked down where they were. Fires up the Find My network, goes, takes right to where it is. She goes, and there's a photo of it's not. I guess it's not the crime scene, but it's like in between two inside an apartment complex, right? There's like all these inflatable Christmas things in there, including hers.
Oh,
right?
so they had been going around stealing and collecting them inside
Yeah.
this apartment? I wonder what they were doing with them.
Yeah, I don't know, just being stupid, I guess. But so
Busted.
anyway, yeah, she found it. But this part I found a little bit odd. So she went to the address indicated where she found the stuff. Then she called the police, and she uploaded all this on TikTok.
I know the video's gone for some reason. I was looking for
really?
it. Yeah,
Maybe it's all a big fake.
I doubt
That
it.
couldn't be true. She said she wasn't able to recover her blow-up lawn ornaments, and what she said was people didn't answer the door, so the police just couldn't go busting down their door. I don't quite understand why she didn't just take the stuff. But
Well, wasn't it inside the apartment?
no, it's just like
In the yard?
It's outside. Yeah, it's like
Oh.
out in the yard. At least that's the picture I saw.
Maybe
I
she was
mean-
hoping that they would get in trouble. And the police are
Yeah.
like, yeah, we don't care.
I mean, I guess it's impossible to know like who did it, right? I mean, it's an apartment complex, so I mean, if it was in Leander's backyard, you'd say, "Oh, Leander did this,"
Yeah.
or somebody went to great lengths to set Leander up. But it's a giant.
I'm
Giant
hoping
apartment
someone's going to
complex.
steal it. We've got some inflatables in our front yard, and I'm actually hoping someone's going to steal them.
Leona put a sign out that says no air tags installed on these inflatables.
It's
Absolutely
actually
no security. Yeah,
I thought that was
so
a great story. I mean, I hope it's true. I'm a little surprised that TikTok is taken down now. So maybe
I don't know. They're being way more censorious than they used to be, or maybe she just was like, I'm getting way too much attention on this. I'm gonna go ahead and
yeah.
take
This
this
became
down.
like a national story. So
Yeah, I mean it's so timely. So it makes me want to get some air tags and affix them to things. But I have nothing outside that I'm worried about getting stolen. That's my only thing. I keep everything locked up, and I've got the HomeKit enabled turrets on the premises, right? So if you come by uninvited, there's gonna be nothing left of you but vapor and some powder. So don't do it. So I don't know if
I
air
wish-
tags would help me. Yeah.
I wish they were cheaper. I mean, if I was touring right now, I would consider putting one on my base.
Yeah.
Or in my
absolutely.
base case, putting one in various things you carry on the road that are expensive, right? Because it's always happening. In fact, in clubs all the time, like you put your bass one place and somebody in your band moves it to another place, and you're like, oh my God, where's my bass? The last time we played, my wife, we're getting ready to load out. She goes look for her accordion. She's, it's gone. My accordion's gone. I'm like, okay, first off, nobody steals an accordion. That's
Weird
just-
Al would. Weird Al
the
might.
typical, the old joke is, oh, I came out and oh my God, somebody broke into my car and they left an accordion. They didn't steal one. Now I got two. That's the joke.
It's actually a pretty
But
good joke.
she ended up, in that case, what had happened was one of the people in the band had taken the wrong accordion. But you could imagine all these types of situations where having an air tag on something would be worth it. I mean, $30 a pop is a little.
yeah, it's
It's a little
Yeah.
pricey. It's for an insurance policy,
Yeah.
but I'll tell you what, man.
get the
The
full
first time
pack.
it pays, the first time it works, you're gonna be like, I'm so glad I paid $30.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're gonna say okay.
Yeah, well, get the 4-pack. I think it's $100 for 4.
Yeah, and they go
That's
on
what I
sale all
did.
the time. I mean, I saw them regularly over the holidays for even now sometimes $89 for 4. So you can definitely
mean,
get a deal on them.
It's tempting to put one in your car, right?
I mean, if you have a car that gets
If you
stolen a
park on
lot,
the
yeah.
street.
Yeah. I used to get I had an older car, and it's funny. I used to always laugh at people that had the club, that thing that opens up.
Yeah,
And you'd always see the club on the steering wheels of the biggest POSs in the world. And I'd always laugh. I'm like, dude, no one wants your big piece of crap car. Look at that thing. That thing sucks. No one wants it. And I'd always laugh to myself when I would see them. Well, then I had an old car. And guess what? Those are the cars everyone wants to steal because you're actually able to steal them. Like my car, it doesn't even have an ignition. It has a button. And if you don't have the freaking keys with you, you can't even start it. And if you have a key, you can just break into it. And I would have loved to have had one of these in my car, because I actually, at a certain point, I stopped even bothering to lock my doors because the people would just break into it and cause more damage. So I just left it open. And then it would get broken into. They'd steal my change, and the next person would come in, and there'd be nothing left in there, so they would just leave. And then the people would break in, and they would break the lock cylinder trying to steal it, but they were too stupid to actually do it. So I had to replace several lock cylinders. It was just a nightmare. And if I would have known where the car was with an AirTag, my neighbor's truck. My neighbor does concrete work. He had a really expensive work truck. It was like $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. Someone stole it. They literally never got it back. They don't know where it is. And if you had an AirTag in there, you could go commando style into that chop shop and deal with those criminals accordingly. Maybe with some kung fu or something, you know?
My daughter, she had an $800 car. You know, it's actually probably worth a couple of grand, but we bought it for $800 and it got stolen and it was gone for a couple of weeks. The cops found it and we went down there to recover it. And funny enough, it had actually, the thieves had detailed the inside. They cleaned it all out and vacuumed it, and they put
That's hilarious.
They put that stuff that that black polish stuff on the dash
like Armor All.
Yeah,
to make it all shiny.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
And then she found an iPhone in the glove compartment.
No way.
And a vacuum cleaner in the bag.
So he probably took her car and took someone out on a date or something.
It sounds like it. Yeah, it was like it was in better shape than she'd lost it, and she got an iPhone out of it.
That's so weird. Yeah. So when my car got recovered, I got it back, and they left mine in bad shape. They left the windows down with the car running, so the car was out of gas with a dead battery with the windows down. So it had been raining in there. They put cigarettes out in the seat and all that stuff. So I get the car back, and it starts having weird problems with the battery. It keeps dying, and I was like, dude, they probably killed the battery because they left it on, and who knows how long it was sitting there dead. So I took it to Costco where I bought the battery from, and I was like, because it has a warranty on the battery, trying to see if I get it replaced. And the guy's looking in there. He's like, you said you got this from here? And I was like, yeah. He's like, this battery isn't from Costco. I'm like, yeah, it is. I'm like, look in your records. He's like, I know you bought a battery from Costco, but this battery is not from Costco. And I was like, what? Well, it turns out somebody had stolen my battery, but they took the time to replace it with a new battery. So they swapped it out with an old one. Is that not totally weird? Like, if you're stealing something actively, you want to get in, get out. You take the new battery, you just take off, right? Why would you reinstall an old battery? Did you want me to get the core charge back for that? Like, that was actually very considerate. You know what I mean?
Weird,
they kept using the car.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Okay. So maybe
they're just stripping it slowly, right?
So they stole the battery because it might have been
sold
worth
that
something,
for $20 on the corner somewhere,
and then reinstalled an old
put
battery.
a crappier one on there. Yeah,
so they can keep driving the car around. Yeah, I just thought that was really weird.
Criminal Mind is just fantastic, isn't it? Have you seen lately the stories in national news? People in San Francisco now are leaving their hatchbacks open because so that
really?
People.
I saw that story. Is that true though?
I saw a video of it. Didn't you?
I saw some
You think it's fake?
pictures. Well, I mean, I've been leaving my, when I had an old crappy car, I mean, like Earthon, I just used to leave it open. And, I mean, I've lived here for nearly 30 years now, so this isn't anything new.
Well, did you see, there's a story just in the past couple of weeks, one of the smash and grabs, they did it while the people were in the car.
Yeah, some kids.
Dude,
Yeah,
they're
isn't
getting
that
so
nice?
bold. I was at a
that's
store
like
last night with my kids buying some Christmas presents. And there was like this flurry of activity in the store, and I heard like the manager going like, I'm calling the cops. And I was like, dude, what is going on? So I kind of go a little closer to hear what's happening. And these two guys were in there with bags, and they were just filling the bags with clothes. Just filling the bags with clothes. One of them had a hood on. You couldn't really see his face. And the guy had like his collar pulled up. You could still see his face. And the manager was like, I'm going to call the cops. The cops are on the way. And the guys were just strolling around casually, filling their bags with clothes and other stuff. And then they
out of control.
just walked out and just left. And I'd never seen anything like that before. Isn't that outrageous?
You should have made a citizen's arrest, man.
yeah, good idea. Get stabbed right in front of my kids. That's a great idea. They could watch Daddy die for trying to stop $300 worth of clothes theft. And the funny thing is he kept threatening these guys that the cops were going to come. I was like, dude, this is Seattle. The cops are not coming. I was in there for probably 15 minutes afterwards, and when I left the building, the cops weren't there. The guys weren't there. They just went along their merry way with that bag full of clothes. They were nowhere to be found in this huge parking lot, completely gone, and the cops still hadn't even arrived yet, which is probably why they do it, because they know, like, by the time the cops get there, especially in Seattle, you probably have 30 minutes to an hour before you can walk casually, go get some poke bowl, and then go home before anyone's going to show up to stop you.
Pokeball.
Okay, that's all the Apple stories we have this week. Let's move on to the fun segment here. Now that we got all the Apple stuff out of the way, let's move on to the fun segment. This is our Gear of the Year, the segment where we talk about things that, or anything really, since we're running out of gear, that is something that you have been using this year, watching this year, playing this year, that you just really loved. It's just enriched your life in such a beautiful way, and you want to tell people about it. I've got a couple picks, so I'm happy to go first if you guys only have one thing. Or if you want to go first, Lewis or Leander, you let me know. I'm going to leave the decision to you. What say you?
Well, my pick was something I've already talked about.
Well,
I didn't really
these are
get much gear this year. Like, I didn't really buy much, and
go ahead. You're already talking about it. Just go for it.
okay. Well, I didn't really buy much, and I was gonna nominate the Apple Watch Series 7, which I talked about previously.
You got the Series 7.
Is it Series 7 or 6?
I think
What
I hope it's the Series 7, because if it's the Series 6, then you really did get that a while ago.
I don't even remember what series it is, but it's whatever the latest one is.
Yeah. Okay. So it is the Series 7. You got the new one.
Is it 7?
Yeah.
Oh my
Okay.
God, yes.
Jeez. Okay, I'm getting too old for this.
Someone called Danny Glover. Holy moly. So anyway, you love it. It's everything
I
you
love
hope
it.
to
Yeah,
enjoy.
I've been recording my bike rides with it, and one of the crazy things is that if you forget to start the workout, it'll be tracking in the background, and I can hit the button like 30 minutes afterwards, and it'll have recorded all of the
entire
whole
thing.
ride, all the data,
Huh.
which is really kind of freaky because like this thing it seems like it's passive, but obviously the little thing is recording all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
In the background in order to enable these kind of things. And then, I've been doing the breathe exercises on it. I've also have this app that's supposed to tell you when you're fully rested or when you need to rest if you've been overtraining, if you've been exercising too much.
Huh.
That I haven't had. Huh?
That ever go off?
Yeah. Actually, it does. Yeah, it's well, I don't know.
I think it's broken. It's actually never turned on. Never notified me of anything.
It sometimes it says I should take it easy when I feel great, and then sometimes when it says I feel great, I don't feel that great. So this one particular app, I want to I think I have to explore it a bit more. But anyway, I don't want to other things that it's just such a great gadget, and I think it's just really starting to show its promise. And I think if they start sticking the glucose monitoring in it, and if they start sticking some other sensors, but especially the glucose monitoring, it really will be indispensable. I mean, it already is getting pretty close. It's maturing to the point now where it is almost an essential health device. And so, of course, for this Christmas, I bought one for my brother, my brother's wife, my father-in-law.
Wow,
nice.
nice,
I think,
nice
know,
family member. Holy moly!
It's and I can just see them. I can see them. I'm hoping that they're actually going to use it. They'll use it because they've all shown an interest in improving their health. They've all got these New Year's resolutions, these New Year's wishes. My brother used to be a really active runner. He put on a bit of weight, and now next year he said he's going to do it. And I can actually see him doing it because he's run for it. So he's been a runner his whole life. So I can see him getting back into it. And I think this would actually genuinely help him with that. So, and my father-in-law too, he used to be very, very active. He also used to be a runner as well, but he's getting a bit older now, so he's taking it a bit easier. But I think, I hope that it will actually help him and help him with his health and fitness. And I can actually see it happening. So, I think it's a really great device.
I love the health stuff too, but I think the thing that I like about the Apple Watch the most is just all the interconnectivity that it has. I can always look to see what the current weather is. I can
Right.
get a weather forecast right on my wrist. I can set an alarm. I can set a stopwatch. I can have a countdown timer. I mean, there's just all this stuff that you can do
Yeah.
with it.
And you can take phone calls. I mean, that just seems to be, isn't that kind of crazy? Taking phone calls on the thing. I mean, like, a few years ago, you would not predict that, that a device this small would be that capable.
Mhm.
And like you said, directions are really helpful on it. Messages are really helpful on it. Texting is really great. Siri actually works on it. I
It
paid,
does.
Kind of.
It does.
mine does.
as much
I've
as
had
much
mostly
as
good luck.
Siri does.
Oh,
God, the
sorry.
dictation is so bad. Siri dictation is so bad. It's
Just
even
keeps
it's
getting
even
worse.
worse. It just keeps getting. Yeah, isn't that the strange thing? I feel like it is getting worse, and it's more effort to dictate something than it is to just type it in usually, because it will get a
Yeah.
lot of the words right, but then it will mangle two or three of them, and then you have to go in and double tap it and highlight it and change it, and it's like, oh my gosh, you have to reformat the whole thing. It
And it'll
is
it'll change one that it got right to something wrong just as you're pressing send.
yeah, yeah, right.
That's my favorite Siri trick.
Yeah, I love that too. All right,
That's
Apple
really
Watch.
outstanding.
I'm gonna
Hey,
pitch.
one question, Leander. Sorry,
Go ahead.
before we move on. How's the display compare to the 6? Because everything else is the same, right? It's only display.
Well, when I first got it, I was wearing two Apple Watches side by side, and it is noticeably bigger. But to be honest, it's not something I go. Every time it lights up, I don't go, "Oh wow, look at that!" That display is so much bigger than the last one. And I haven't got those. There's a couple of faces you can get that show off the display. I put one on it, but I never use it.
Things look like Dolly or something.
Yeah, this one here.
Oh,
It's
of
nice.
course, it shut off immediately.
Oh. Yeah,
It's impossible to show
It's-
someone else here the screen of your Apple Watch. We've
It is.
already
It's the
determined
hardest-
this. Yeah, it's like you gotta
It
like
should be
contort
a-
your body into unnatural ways to show someone the
It should
face of
be
your
its
Apple
own
Watch.
Apple Fitness Plus classification. Exercise, share Apple Watch screen with someone else.
But you gotta show it. You gotta show it so that it's like on your wrist the way that you would look at it. So you gotta like contort your shoulder and your arm and everything.
and look how
Painful.
cool it is. Oh, look at that. It does look handsome, doesn't it? With the
Go a little
red.
bit to your right a little bit more. There you go.
Oops.
Oh, you got the bright red one. Look at you.
Yeah, it's nice. It's
I like the
such
red
a handsome
watch.
device.
I
I
Yeah.
know a lot of people are down it. I like it.
Didn't you have a
It's
red
got-
watch, Lewis? Didn't
Still
you
do.
have one? You
Still
do
do.
have one. Okay. Did you have a red iPhone too?
No.
Okay, it's the watch.
I had a red iPhone. I've had a couple of red
It's
iPhones.
impossible to keep these red devices straight with you two guys. You guys are both getting the different red ones. I'm like, it's hard to know who has what. All right, I'm gonna pitch a couple real quick ones, and then I'll send it back to you, Lewis, for to close it off. So this is a small one, but it's highly practical, and it's something that I have liked so much that I've bought numerous of, and that is a iPhone charger by Anka. It's an Anka charger. Check out how small this is. So if you can't see this, it's about the size of the top half of my thumb. It's a 20-watt charger by Anka. It's a PowerPort 3 Nano. It's gallium nitride, which is the newest charging technology, so they can increase the wattage and shrink everything way down. And this is the charger that will fast charge your iPhone, and yet it is the same size as the original charger for the original iPhones. You remember those little tiny square chargers that you used to get for free?
Yeah,
That's
I
how
got
big
millions
this
of
thing
them.
is, except now instead of being 5 watts, or I think that was 5 watts, it is 20 watts, and it will fast charge your iPhone super quick. And I've liked these things so much that I have actually bought several. They were on sale over Black Friday, and so I've got a bunch of them now, and I kind of keep them in my house and in the Cult Command Center. They're USB-C, right? So you have to have a USB-C to Lightning cable to use them, but or you can also use USB-C to USB-C if you want to charge your iPad. Although I'm not sure. Yeah, the iPad charger is 20 watts, so you could use this to charge your iPad too at the same speed that the Apple charger uses, except the Apple charger is way bigger. This thing will fit in pretty much any plug in any power strip or outlet because it's so diminutive that it doesn't interfere with other ports on your power strip or anything. So there it is, the Anker PowerPort 3 Nano. These
It
are
is odd that
normally like
Apple why doesn't Apple adopt that technology? Because like all of their chargers look really primitive these days, don't
And
they?
they're
I mean, all
huge.
these other companies are running rings around them.
Yeah. Like, their charger is probably 2 or 3 times the size of one of the other gallium nitride chargers that I have. That's 100 watts. And the Apple one's 96 watts, so it has less wattage and it's 3 times the size.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're getting a charger, gallium nitride is the one that you want to get because they're tiny and they just pump out way more wattage than any of the older technology. And the other thing I wanted to show off, I purchased this, is this CamLink camera adapter. No, you can't see it. There it is. And I love this thing. It allows you to connect any camera via HDMI to any computer. So this basically turns it into a webcam, and it turns it into a USB device. It handles up to 4K cameras, I think, at 60 FPS. I'll have to look at the actual FPS. But I use this thing all the time because we're living in the post times, right? There's the before times and there's the post times. In the pre times, in the before times, we used to meet each other in person, and now we're all meeting on camera. And I have a really nice camera, and I was like, it was just sitting around the Cult Command Center. I'm like, well, how can I deploy this in a more useful way? And after doing a lot of research, I ended up getting this CamLink, and by Elgato, I should say, the Elgato CamLink. And now I can use this camera with any computer that has USB. Now, it's connects via USB-A, so you need an adapter to use it on your MacBook Pro or a dock, which sucks. But it does work, and you get a beautiful picture from your camera using this on any computer. So I use this thing all the time. It's given a whole new life to the cameras I have in the Cult Command Center here because they were just sitting around. And now I can use them for broadcasting, for podcasting, for anything. So if you're doing anything visual, if you're using Teams, Microsoft Teams, Slack, you can use this to really increase the quality of your camera. And I think it makes a difference, especially like in work settings. If you have a really great looking picture, people notice. If you look like $1 million, people notice. And it actually might help you in your career. I'm not even joking. Like, people have commented on the quality of my camera, and people that I'm just having regular conversations with, they're like, why does your camera look so good? It's because they're using a webcam, and I'm using like a nice camera, and I plugged it in via the CamLink.
What are you using right now?
Well, I'm using a Elgato product. It's not the CamLink. It's a PCIe card that goes into the Cult Commander PC. And I think it's called the CamLink Pro. No.
You're using a DSLR though. That's plugged into your PC.
Well, I'm using a cinema camera right now. I'm using a Canon C100 Mark II. So this
What cameras do you have?
I've got a few. So I mean, the thing is, like, you buy them and then you get all sorts of life out of them in other ways, especially if you can connect them, via your computer. Because I have a Fuji X-T3 that I was thinking about selling, and then I was like, oh, I'll hang on to it. It might be useful for like a webcam, especially if I can like plug it in and use it that way. So I just kind of let cameras hang out. Plus, they all become my babies, and I figure out how to use them, and I figure out how to make them look good. And then once I do that, it's kind of hard to get rid of them.
Mm-hmm.
CamLink. So let's see. We got Konoth here in the chat. He's saying CamLink 4K can do 1080p 60 frames per second or 4K 30. Is it only 4K 30? I mean, that's fine with me. I know a lot of people will be disappointed that it can't do 4K 60, but in all honesty, who's streaming in 4K 60? No one. Most people aren't even streaming in 4K because it's just way too much bandwidth. Most people are streaming in 1080p. So if you can do 1080p 60, you have a beast of a machine, and this can do that. So this has been one of my favorite products of the year. I use this all the time. It's about $100. It kind of fluctuates between like 95 and like 120. I got it on Amazon for 100, and I knew that was a great price, so I bought it in October, I think, because that's when things started going on sale. CamLink 4K, Lewis, send it to you. I hope you're going to rep that shirt for one of your picks, because I don't think people have actually seen it. Can you stand up a little bit so people can see it?
I'm standing up.
Well, on your tippy toes. For those of you listening, it's like a cross stitch looking T-shirt that has a dumpster with a fire coming out of it, and on the dumpster it says 2020.
It's finally over.
I just
it's
love
finally
that.
over. and I thought for sure I could get rid of this shirt, but
You just need
unfortunately,
to cross
we
out the 0.
we just did a replay.
Cross out the 0 and just write a 1 next to it. You can. I think you'll be able to use that shirt for several years to come.
Oh my God, I hope not. It's just hard to believe how long we've been at this, isn't
I
it?
know.
Mhm. Is it-
I know. Okay, Lewis, your pick. Let's cheer everyone up. Let's not bring everyone down to your level.
All right, I'll give it a shot. So
Okay.
this isn't gear,
Okay.
but it is something that I've appreciated more and more this year. It's Apple Fitness Plus.
Oh,
Have you guys ever used it?
I have not bothered to try it now.
Me,
You
no.
know, It's so well, I don't know when I decided to hop onto the Apple One subscription. With everything, I got the 2 terabytes of iCloud storage. I've got the Apple TV Plus, which I think that's actually been a lot better this year too. And Fitness Plus and News Plus and Apple Arcade, which I almost never use at all.
Yep.
Fitness Plus is actually cool, and they've actually made it better this year. They've added different kinds of workouts, and if you're not familiar with it, I mean, it works with your Apple Watch. You fire it up, and you start a workout. And it can be what I've been doing is these core workouts, which are basically like planks and modified planks and sit-ups and occasionally something with a dumbbell that you like move a little bit, but and these things are 5 or 10 minutes long.
Huh.
And it's not very much time investment. And I tell you, I certainly don't do it every day or even every week. A lot of weeks I'm just
I've done it twice in the last 2 years.
no, but what I can tell you, I mean, I have had problems with like the way my body feels from typing all the time, right? I mean, my wrists hurt, my neck hurts, my back hurts, everything hurts all the time. So I've been doing this for way too long. But just doing a 10-minute core workout, I don't know, it gets you feeling better.
Does
And
it loosen you up?
yeah, you just feel better. I think I play better darts after I do one of those in the day. Because it's just like something like even if you're just doing something like this and maintaining it gets your body moving in ways that
Yeah.
that you're not used to doing if you if like basically plugged into the matrix 24/7.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I always I to me, like going to a gym and doing workouts, like I cannot even imagine going and doing like one of those bike workouts in a big room full of people, everybody and somebody up in the front going, "Yeah, everybody, let's go faster."
I was just gonna say
Yeah.
there's a video on Apple's website for Fitness Plus, and there's some lady, she's doing exactly what you just said, and she's in the video. She's like, "Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
having a great time burning calories."
Yeah. Well, so the other thing that you should know about this is they have, I don't know, over a dozen, workout instructors, right? And so you can pick and choose who who you like. I mean, like there's multiple people that do these 5 or 10 minute core workouts,
Mhm.
and yeah, it's all hopelessly upbeat, right? I mean, they're definitely motivational speakers, and it's a little bit corny in that way. I mean, I'm not probably the target audience for that because I'm just such a miserable, but it's actually helpful, because you're sitting there, you're doing this whatever kind of plank, right? And you're sitting there, and they're saying, okay, now as you're doing this, make sure that you don't move your back. Pretend that you've got uh, a glass of water in your lower back, and you're trying not to spill it. Things like that. That you're going along,
Huh.
you're a room by yourself, right? And you're doing these exercises you've never done. And that's one thing that's kind of cool about it. I mean, almost every time it's a completely different array of things, and sometimes you like them, sometimes you don't. You can star it or whatever, make it a favorite, so you can go back and revisit it if you find a set of them that are actually really awesome. Sometimes I do one of these things and it's like for whatever reason they I can't even do them, right? I mean, sometimes they seem easy, other times it's like this is just impossible for me. I cannot make my arm go this way and my leg go that way at the same time, and I don't ever want to do this set again, right? But they have, I don't know, I think a dozen or so different types of exercises now, and they do have those bikes, so you can have that sort of like I'm sitting in a group doing, and I think you can do it with SharePlay now too, right? I've never done that.
Oh, really?
Um,
Huh.
yeah, they have treadmill workouts. They have now they have things like meditation, mindful cool down, which I've never had
Oh.
the gumption to check out. I can't even imagine what that's got to be full new age nonsense, right? Uh but like the core training and the strength training, and they have Pilates, right? Which I always I hear Pilates and I think of like leg warmers and 80s music or something. But I think I'm going to check those out in the coming year because it's just kind of low impact stretching and you know
Yeah, yeah. I
getting your
definitely need some
body
of this.
moving.
Yeah, yeah. I'm going to check it out now. You've motivated me.
Yeah, I need to
That's
be.
my gift to you, Leander. Don't expect anything else.
Thank you, Lewis.
I mean, if you're subscribed to well, I think it's only the highest tier, right? Apple One Premier, $30 a month, whatever. If you're doing that, do yourself a favor and check out the thing. You know, try a couple. I mean, literally 5 minutes of your time.
Well, do you have it on? Do you have it like on an Apple TV, like on your TV?
I don't use it on Apple TV just because I don't, that's down in the living room. I use it on an iPad up here in my office.
Huh.
So you prop the iPad up in front of you.
Yeah, put put it down on the floor, and if you've never done it, you pick a thing. You can watch little previews that they kind of, they're like trailers for the thing. They explain what you're going to go through in this thing, right? And usually it's like, okay, well, we got 4 exercises we do, and we're going to do each of them twice. And they show you, and you need a mat and a dumbbell, which again, the dumbbell isn't used that often in the core one. It's almost always just body weight stuff.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
And you start the thing. It tracks it on your Apple Watch, and as you're doing it, you see like how many, how your rings are going and how many calories and what your heart rate is, and some of the things like in the what are they called, like the cycling or running ones or whatever, they have a burn bar, right? And it's like, oh, here's how good you are doing, how much you're putting into it compared to like other people supposedly. Again, I don't do that stuff. I don't.
But I can see how that would be. Some people would definitely be motivated by that, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I think it's a pretty well put together thing, and even as sort of, I don't know, philosophically opposed to that sort of happy crap. Because they're definitely very happy and very motivational. Lots of like, let's get it, that kind of thing.
Oh man, I'm showing these videos. You're talking about this, and it's giving an example of Apple Fitness. And there's this dude in the back, and he has just got the biggest smile. He's stretching. He's like shaking his arms around. He's got a huge smile on his. He's having the most fun he's ever had doing these dance moves.
Yeah, well, and I gotta say, like, if I was to go to a gym,
yeah,
I would. If I belonged in a gym, I would never go to one of these classes because I'd just be too embarrassed.
Yeah.
But doing it in my office where nobody
Sure.
can see it,
Uh-huh.
it's made me feel more comfortable doing it than I would have ever. I literally would never have done it. I mean, it would not happen.
Yeah.
In a room full of people, no way.
Especially in that like half leotard that you wear when you're doing these exercises, right? So that's like
I usually just do them completely nude.
You do? Well, they have some gyms in San Francisco that allow that, don't they?
Everywhere, right? I mean, it's just fine.
Then you go do some hot yoga.
Jeez.
Sorry for the person who's behind you.
Unfortunate.
Hot nude yoga. What do they got? Hot. Yeah, go ahead.
So have they expanded? How many workouts, different types of workouts do they have now? Like it's dozens, isn't it?
I think it's about a dozen. I'm not 100% sure on that, but they've got. Well, let's just look. Meditation, which I don't know. Maybe I'll
Actually, I might try that. I'm kind of curious about meditation.
Yeah, I the wife uses Headspace. You're familiar with that app? Meditation.
No,
app.
but I've heard of it.
I walk out of my office and the wife's sitting there like this. Blank face, like a zombie, and I'm like, oh my god, she's passed on. No, it's the. Then I hear like the Australian voice in the back. Imagine yourself on a cool beach.
It's very good Australian accent.
That stuff is a little much for me. I have a real hard time putting up with that. But anyway, so they got meditation, they got HIIT, high impact.
Is that high intensity?
High intensity. High impact is boxing, right? High intensity interval training. That's
your favorite, right? You go ham.
You know what? I got to say, I'm probably going to try the yoga one pretty soon.
Yeah.
And You will never find me going to a yoga studio.
Yeah.
Ever.
Okay.
Never
That's
once.
interesting. You've piqued my interest here, honestly. Yeah.
Core is the good one. That's the one I've been drawn to, and I think one of the main reasons is just because they do have 5 and 10 minute exercises. Strength, Pilates, dance, yeah, like you're saying, cycling, treadmill, rowing, and mindful cool down.
Mindful cool down. That's the one I'm all about.
But I
Apple
don't know.
Fitness Plus, man, I'm surprised you've piqued my interest, Lewis. I honestly, I wasn't interested. Now I'm a little bit interested. Not a lot, but a little.
A lot of these things. I mean, the older I get, the more I realize I should have been stretching all my life.
Yeah.
Never have been. The older I get, the more like impossible it seems to do something. Just the less comfortable I feel in general. So,
Yeah.
I think I think that stuff's super important, and I think that finding 5 or 10 minutes a day to do it is probably a real good idea for everybody on the planet.
Right, totally, absolutely agree. Yeah, I'm so stiff. Like when I get up in the morning, I can barely move. I feel like Pinocchio. I'm just like, and it's getting really bad. Especially if I go on a big bike ride and I'm so stiff the next day, like I can barely, if I drop something on the floor, I got to get my kids to pick it up. It's terrible.
Wow.
You know
what you need to do? You need to take a turmeric supplement, Lander. Turmeric. I'm telling you, man, changed my life. Turmeric supplement. It just takes all the inflammation away, and you'll be able to move a lot better. Helped me a lot.
Man. I used to take turmeric pills, and I thought they helped.
Yeah.
Then I ran out, and I never bought anymore. And then I got some kind of liquid one at Costco, which I don't notice anything. What brand do you use?
I can send it to you. It's just one that I get on Amazon. But the one that I found, I'd have to send it to you. There's a company called Piping Rock that sells supplements.
Piping Rock.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird name, but that's one of the places that I go to buy. Not a lot of supplements, but they have some things that I like, and their turmeric is one of the ones I like. They've got several different kinds, though, and the one that I was buying from them, I don't remember the exact dosage. I think it was like 1,000 milligrams of standardized turmeric, so they have turmeric and then like the root in there, too, and that one was the one that worked the best for me because I've been in like 2 or 3 car accidents in my life, so my back gets kind of stiff. And my back has just been feeling great for I don't know, a year or two. And then I ran out of this stuff, and my back started getting all tight and hurting again.
Wow.
And I realized, it's the turmeric. So I bought more and started taking more again. My back loosened up again, and now it's back to normal. So
great.
I'm not saying it'll work for you, but it definitely worked for me. It's definitely worth trying because turmeric's like,
I'll definitely give it a try. Yeah.
It's so cheap. It's like $10 for a bottle, so. All right, guys. Look, we're talking about turmeric supplements now.
Yeah. What's next?
You know what that means.
Useful thing I learned the whole podcast though.
That means we're completely out of juice. There's just no juice left. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up there. That's all the CultCast we have for you guys this week. If you want to have the party keep going, we're all on Twitter. I'm at Airfon ERFWin. Lewis is at Lewis Waltz. Lander is at LK. This has been the CultCast. The best 30-plus minute Apple conversation you're going to hear all week long. New episodes of the CultCast come out every Thursday night. I want to thank everyone for listening. A very Merry Christmas to all of you. Happy holidays. We will see you guys next week for our last show of the year. And we will see you guys next time. Okay, well, when we wrap up here, I want you to give me your best ho ho ho, Lewis. Can you give me a ho 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 for Christmas? I want it to be. You better flex your diaphragm. I want this to be real. Nothing.
Who are you talking to?
Oh, I thought you said when it's over.
I'm talking to Lewis. I want to hear a ho ho ho, Lewis.
Ho ho.
That's only 2 ho hos.
Santa lost a hoe. Have you heard that song?
How about you, Lander? Can you give me a ho ho ho?
Ho ho ho.
God, you guys are Grinches. I wish that lady stole you instead. Hey, you want to hear this one?
Let's hear it.
How's that?
Very impressive.
Dang. Cast me in the next.
Have you spent some time in the North Pole?
Most of my young life, yeah. My dad is Santa Claus, Lewis. Did you not know that about me?
You do look slightly elfin.
All right, guys. I'm hovering towards the end stream button as we speak. This show's over. I've had enough. Bye, y'all.
It's a wrap.
5:24.